Hey, how you going? It's great. Now, around 12 years ago, I left corporate and I went from corporate to co-owning a marketing design agency. I thought it was going to be a natural transfer of skill set, and to some extent, it was. And the business on paper looked great, seven-figure business, team of 16 staff. We had regular clients, great income coming in each month. I was able to have nice holidays, nice car, all of the stuff, yeah, that looks successful. But inside, I felt anything but, because I soon realized that I was building a business that just wasn't aligned with me and what I truly wanted. And it was all because I had just gone straight from one job essentially to creating another. I had the same headspace, same conditioning, same mentality from corporate that I took with me into the agency. And this is why I am so passionate about building businesses from the inside out. So, if this is resonating with you right now, if you're feeling stuck in your business, that you're building something that's just not aligned and you're feeling a little bit meh about it, then what I'm going to share with you in this video is really going to help you to get clear on your future direction, why this is really important to you, what you need to do to transform the way that you're thinking and operating in your business. And it's really going to help you to move forward. Now, this is the exact same exercise that I went through myself. It's the same exercise that I take my clients through. And the document that I'm going to refer to is a living and breathing document that evolves as you evolve. But you will always know your future direction, because the work that we do at the very beginning in this document is what will stick with you for the rest of your life. So, the one thing that I said is around building your business from the inside out. And I truly believe that as a solo operator, if you don't build a business for you first, then you're always going to be at the mercy of clients and projects and outside influences, because you have no clear kind of boundaries in place. Now, I'm all for becoming boundless in your business. Yeah, I talk about becoming a boundless consultant with a $20,000 a month business that you can operate in 20 hours a week, which is the polar opposite of what I had in my agency. Now, if I knew what I knew now back then in business, then it would have looked very, very different. And I would have put some different things in place to ensure that the business could have been built in the way in which I've built my business now. And so the very first thing that I work with clients on is understanding exactly what their inner drivers are. Now, I believe that you've got two inner drivers. You've got an ego driver, which is highly personal. It's all about you. It's not about anyone else. You have that driver. And then you have your purpose, which is your non-ego driver. And this is what you were put on this planet to do for the benefit of others. And it's essentially not your obligation to others, but it's what you do. It's what you would do anyway, and it's what you do very naturally, that is just something that's inherent to you. So, for example, people will say their why, their ego driver, is family. I'm doing this for my kids. I'm doing this for my partner. I'm doing this for my parents. And that is not true. It's a very top line surface why. Your real why goes way back to your childhood, to an event or a situation or a feeling. It could be it could come from something that happened that was very traumatic. It could come from something that was the complete opposite that you just want to replicate in your life time and time again. But your why is so inherent to you, it's so ingrained in you that it's the one thing that will push you forward because you want it so badly for yourself. So I'll give you an example of how weird a why can actually be. So my why actually stems back to something that happened in my childhood when I was 4.5 years old in a classroom, and I didn't know what a word meant in class. And people were packing up, the kids were all packing up behind me. And because what happened is once you had, there were 10 words that were in front of you, and you had to go to the teacher when you knew the 10 words, tell the teacher what they were, and once you got them right, you could just play with the toys that were in the classroom until the end of school. And so I was the first one to finish, and I was so pleased with myself. And I remember going up to the teacher and telling her my words, and I got to the last word, and she said, "No, that's not right. Go back and try again." So I remember going back to the wall, sitting in front of the wall, looking at the words, got to the last word again. I was like, right, okay, it's that word. And she said no again. And I remember going back to the wall, and very quickly I turned round and every single kid in the classroom had finished other than me. Everyone had got it right. And I thought that I was the one that had got it right at the beginning. And I hadn't. And I remember the bell going, and I remember being sat there with just tears streaming down my face. And in that moment, I took on the belief that I was stupid, that I wasn't as smart as anyone else in the class. And so for my whole life, I have been on a mission to prove that I am smart. I do have what it takes, that I can do things. And most recently, that belief or that inner driver has been transferred into doing YouTube videos, which I've never taken seriously before. And it's because of this, because I don't want to look stupid. I'm worried that if I put myself on a pedestal out there, that I'm going to show myself up, I'm going to fail, people will laugh, people will think that, and all of this nonsense, right? But it is something that is deep within you. And so once you understand what your why is, you can actually use it to your advantage, but it's very deep in your psyche. The second one is your non-ego driver, which is your purpose. What were you put on the planet to do? What is it that you've done naturally your whole life that you can't quite pinpoint as such, but it's something that's unique to you? So I know for me that it's always been that I've been able to connect the dots for other people that they can't see in themselves. And that usually means challenging the status quo. So I can clearly see opportunities or blind spots that people don't see for themselves that I see based on their personality, based on their skill set, based on what it is that I see that's very unique about them. And I've had this my whole life with my family, with my friends, and now it forms a big part of my coaching business. And it's one of the things that people work with me personally on, is because I'm really able to see what it is that they could be working on and to help steer them and point them in the right direction. And it's not through manipulation or my wants or desires for them. It's purely what I see. And again, it's really hard for me to describe this, but that essentially is my purpose. It's around helping people to challenge their status quo and to see things differently for themselves. And again, what is it for you? And there's some questions that you can ask. Now, once you have this, once you know exactly what your inner drivers are, then you can start thinking externally around what the external goals are that you want to achieve. So when you look back at your life in 10 years' time, what would success look like for you by then? So that's your ultimate goals, essentially your vision. So once you know your inner drivers, once you know your ultimate vision, what are all of the other things that you need in place for that to happen? And so again, there's some more meaning behind this. I'm going to share with you a document which I will give a template for that you can fill out for yourself. So I've already spoken around your why and your purpose right here. And I call this Becoming Boundless, this document, because as I say, I'm all about you living life on your terms and creating a business that you truly want and starting with yourself first. So we look at your why, your purpose, identity, your genius, the vision that I mentioned. So what does that look like? Now, a couple of years ago, I reviewed this, and the monetary vision for me is consistent $50,000 months. And I had a couple of years ago to hit, to reduce my hours from 60 hours a week down to 25 hours a week. Now I've actually exceeded that, so it's down to 20 hours a week now. So I've recently reviewed this document to talk around maintaining 20 hours a week. So again, as I say, this is a living and breathing document. Then you go into like who you are, kind of like your personality, the business prerequisites. So what is it that you actually want in your business? So for me, I'm not about big coaching, for example. I don't want to have 100 people turn up on a call with me. That's not what it's about. For me, it's about this personal connection and having a boutique and intimate community where I get to know people personally. And this is one of the things that clients love about being part of the community, is the fact that they get to know each other. Everyone gets airtime and space to be seen and heard. So then you go into what you believe. So what are your beliefs? So I believe that successful businesses are built from the inside out, and that comes from my previous experiences where I was basically building from the outside in. Then who you're for, what sort of people are you wanting to work with, types of clients, what type of people do you want in your world? The benefits for your network, so the benefits for your business around what it is that you actually do. Who's really going to get the benefits and why is it important? The benefits for you. So why do you want these things? What difference is it going to make in your life? The benefits for your nearest and dearest, because this is never just about you. It's about the impact that you have, the ripple effect that you have on the world, which is why we talk about the benefits, not only for yourself, but your network and your nearest and dearest. The things that you won't tolerate. So what is it that you're tolerating in your business right now that you know you are, that you're making exceptions for, that you know that you really shouldn't? And that your life and your energy would be so much greater if you didn't tolerate these things. Then we talk about what is it that you're prepared to commit to. So really holding yourself accountable for the things that you do in your business. Then we go deeper into how you're going to get there, and then this leads into offers. I'm not going to go into too much detail about this, but going into lead offers, the things that you're going to give away for free to bring people and welcome people into your world. Offers where you're going to see the intent of the people that come into your world. Are they interested in working with you? Then your client offers, then your marketing plan. So I've got my marketing plan right now, which is a YouTube video once a week to post daily with a call to action of a lead offer, to email people on my database daily with a customer offer, which is inviting them to take the next step, etc. Then we go into the manifesto. So this is kind of painting a future description of you. So looking at yourself as a third person here. So giving a description, Karita Beard is a successful consultant, coach and confidant who helps founders build a business and life on their terms with her boundless blueprint, which is my method of how I work with people. Character traits. And then we go into vision. And this is something that a lot of people go a bit bigger on this. So, really painting a picture of what success in life looks like for you. And to keep this tight, you don't want too much on here because it gets overcrowded, but really going back through everything that you've worked through and then putting this into a visual form that you can have in front of you and connect with, and to look at for inspiration and to look at for direction for you to be able to stay focused on what's important to you. So I'm going to share this document with you, or a template of this document, so that you can actually work through it for yourself. Now, going through this exercise properly is probably going to take you a good couple of hours. You don't want to rush it. You really want to think carefully about what you put in here. And doing this alone is going to bring you the clarity that you need and allow you to really ask yourself honest questions around what are you doing, what are you going to focus on, and what are you going to let go of? What's all this stuff that you're doing right now that's not important, that's not aligned with who you are, which doesn't benefit your future direction? And you'll see that those things will naturally fall away as you just get focused on answering these questions. Now, as I say, this is something that I did right at the very start of my business that I'm in now 7 years ago. It's something that I still refer back to. It does evolve as you evolve, and it's something that my clients rave about because they've always got a point of reference. They've always got something to refer back to. Because in business, you are going to get times where you feel a little bit lost, where you do feel misaligned. And when you go back to this, it will really keep you on track and moving forward. So when people go through this exercise, it completely shifts the way they think about doing business. When Michael came to me, he was completely burnt out. He had had his most successful year since starting his business 3 years prior, but he was working with the wrong clients, offering the wrong things. He was just about to go into business partnership with someone, and he realized that it was the wrong move. And from doing this exercise, he shifted a few things around in his business. And now, this year, he's taken on 2 new staff. He's absolutely loving his business again. He has way more time to spend with his kids than what he had before. He just hadn't given himself permission to dream and believe that this is what he could actually create. The same happened with Doogie, and he sent me a picture of him on a yacht on the Whitsundays just a couple of months ago. And he hadn't been able to go on holiday with his family because he felt like he just couldn't take a break from his business. And he again shifted the way he thought, shifted the way he did things, and was able to do that. His next vision is to actually own that yacht that he was on. Carrie Ann was working with a particular type of client and had been for 20 years, hadn't given herself permission to even believe that she could go after a certain type of client and reposition herself in the market, and she did. She's now running a $5 million a year business. Like, all of these things can happen if you allow yourself permission to do it and to challenge yourself and to hold yourself accountable. So if you want to work with me personally to help you bring this vision that you set for yourself to life and achieve the results that some of my other clients have, then all you need to do is, if you click the link in the comments below, you'll see that there's a 20-minute training that takes you through the exact business model that I have in my business. You can probably take that away and replicate it for yourself. But if you want some help to actually implement and install the exact model and systems I use in my business into yours, then all you do is click the link and you can see exactly what this looks like. So that's it from me. I will speak to you next week.